Support Pro Play Games on Patreon.
What's up, everybody? Giancarlo and Sublet here. We woke up to a little bit of a surprise today, didn't we?
Yeah, we did. Christmas morning, man.
Yeah, that's exactly.
New ban list. Woo.
I woke up. Yeah, you know, as you do, like the first thing you do when you wake up is check your phone. And I saw a text. First of all, I had like 20 notifications, and at the top was a text message from Dr. Matt Sublet. That's how he saved in my phone. Dr. Matt Sublet. Yo, new ban list. And the first thing I thought was like, yo, he's got to be bullshitting me. I open up my phone, ignore everything. I got like missed phone calls and shit from my parents. Like, open the ban list. Let me find the ban list. Just
that's the same thing I did this morning because I had a text message from somebody saying new ban list.
I couldn't believe it. And then in my days, you know, when you first wake up, you're still like half asleep, and I was like, oh, is that all 3 Dark Brolys? Okay. Oh, 5 cards banned. Oh, Mecha Frieza got banned. Oh, Planet Vampa got touched. Okay, who was talking about Planet Vampa? Bandai, y'all really did. They did a great fucking job on this shit, man. They did a great job.
They did, man. You talk about that sleepy stupor. I didn't actually see Mecha Frieza. I just saw they unbanned U9.
Oh yeah.
I was so happy, and then I saw U9 unbanned. I was,
ooh, Mecha Frieza banned.
Mecha Frieza again. I don't think we needed to do that.
Right.
Yes, the leader is banned where it should be.
Whew. Yeah.
I
think Bandai did a great job.
They did a fantastic job. We'll break down each one of these.
Yeah.
I don't think there's a single miss on this list though.
No. This is 100% perfect. I think
maybe a thwarting errata.
Oh, okay, yeah. Thwarting errata is the only thing they missed. But that, to be fair, that's kind of minor.
Fine.
And I ultimately, like, I think it's cool. You can play thwarting in fucking launch and Hachi Jack and whatever other, and Videl. I built a thwarting Videl deck. I think that's cool that you can do that, but like, that's like it's very minor. I'm okay with it not getting errata.
Yep, this is something, man. All right, so you ready?
Yeah, let's go for it, bro. Yeah.
All right. So number 1 on the ban, we have Belmod here.
Yeah.
Go ahead and zoom in on this.
Yeah, this is the one everyone was talking about. I was afraid that they would only ban Belmod. So the thing is that the Facebook group talks. We've been talking about nothing but ban lists for like a week now, and Belmod. I was just afraid that they would only hit Belmod and nothing else. Now Belmod, that would have been a good ban if they did nothing else. It would have been better, but I'm glad that they really took this into account. Yeah, Belmod's gone good. It's a really bad card in bad decks. I was playing against Jiren last night, and I'm not just talking shit or anything, but this dude Belmoded against me, and I was like, no, you just cleared your entire board for no reason. So like, Belmod was a card that was a trap for new players for the longest time. It was a really bad card, and your opponent just clears their own board for you, and it's like, okay, well, I just win now. But because of the interactions it had with these other cards, it was becoming too broken. Poorly designed, right? It's just a poorly designed card that was bad. Go ahead.
It wasn't poorly designed. It's kind of like you see this a lot in other card games. You have a card that's completely fine and honestly not very good.
Yeah.
And then a new mechanic gets released, and all of a sudden that card is nutter butters broken.
Yeah.
Belmod's the same thing, right? We didn't have unique back then.
Yeah.
Now we have unique, which is a keyword that Bandai uses to put really powerful effects on rather cheap cards.
Yeah.
As they're like, you can't get another one on the board without comboing this off or something.
Yeah.
Belmod is a free way to remove that. That was the problem, and that's why he needed to go.
Yeah, exactly. Right, and then right along with Tao, that's like the best example. Tao and Thwarting were the 2 unique cards. Tao did not see play for like 3 formats, right? Tao was released in set 10. The first deck that really played it was Launch. Pilaf isn't like a real deck, so like whatever. But like the first deck that really played, like a first tier 1 deck that actually played this was Launch, and that was a set 12 or set 13, something like that. But the point is, like, Tao was like, it just didn't see play for the longest time. Now you put this good card in a much better, more like broken deck, it becomes a problem. Like, you put this in King Vegeta, it becomes a problem. Like, you know, I was playing this in King Piccolo at some point. Like, it's just, yeah, it's 0 mana, 15k crit. We don't need that in the game. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't
too much value.
Contribute. You know what I mean? Too good.
And it has no downside whatsoever. It's not like it's a 1 mana 5k combo or a 4 mana card.
Yeah.
It literally has no downsides. That's a problem.
Yep.
We move on to the Bardock the Resolute. Now, Bandai originally limited this card to 1, which was not smart because most people only played 1.
Yeah, you played like 1 or 2. Like it just
1 or 2. Yeah.
Same thing with Heartfelt. It was like you limit this card to 1, but it's like, okay, I was only playing 2 copies of this card. Like, come on, like what you know what I mean? No one's playing.
Then it just
Now
it just feels so much worse when your opponent draws the dang thing.
Yeah. When this card first came out, we were playing 4 because the bad ruling was when your opponent takes damage no matter what. Like I could swing my leader into your leader, you take a damage, I could summon this. We were playing 4 of this dude, and he was broken then. They fixed him. He became less broken because there was no consistent way to summon him. Then they release again. So like this card did not see any play until Draft Box 6 when Piccolo Jr. Eradicator of Peace came out. That was like outside of the bad ruling when this was first released that got fixed pretty quickly. It got fixed in like 2 weeks. This card did not see competitive play until a card that synergized too well came out. So with no Piccolo, this card really wasn't seeing that much play. Piccolo comes out, it's played in everything. You know what I mean?
Yep, and then a lot more decks kept getting critical, which was really feeding this card. Yeah,
this card in Red Broly was annoying as shit. Like, it's too good of a card for 0 mana. It has a little bit of a downside, which is it's a 0 combo, but it's like it just whatever. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I have seen people pay 3 mana for this card.
Yeah, I have too. Yeah, it's too good. It's just dual attack, double strike. That's really what it is.
And then we have Son Goku Power of Legend. Sorry, man. I know how your Green Broly did.
Yeah, this hurt. Not gonna lie. I have my pre-release stamps, but the good news is I don't have to buy any more because this could have easily been a 4 of in a slow format. This card's a 4 of. This card is amazing. Like, talk about a 0 mana crit that also clears a battle card. This card, again, it was too good. There were just not really any good decks that were abusing it. Now, who knows? Like, there could, like, in a slow format, if I'm playing OG Broly in a turn 4 format, I'm playing 4 of this card. I don't care if it's a 0 mana combo. I'll just discard it with Bupo. I don't care. It's a broken card. It's a necessary sacrifice to move the game into a more balanced position.
Yep, I think this was a really smart idea because if you take this list and the previous list and you put them together, there were like 1 or 2 good cards on the previous list.
Yeah.
Then Bandai has actually attacked all the aggro decks, a good number of the control decks, and has kind of moved the game into this like turn 3 to 5 mid-range area.
Yeah.
And like that is where hand destruction wants to be.
Exactly.
That's a happy place for hand destruction.
Yeah.
And so seeing them make this preemptive strike to hand destruction is actually really good forethought on them that we're going to see again with Janimba and Planet Vampa, actually.
Yeah, I agree.
Like, they were actually, I don't know what they were on with the first ban list, but they actually sat down and thought about this one, or they hired somebody better to tell them what cards to ban.
I mean, they really knocked it out of the park with this one, man.
They did a great job.
I couldn't get over it, like, because I did not expect, and really, we're gonna talk a little bit of shit about Bandai, but they did such a good job that I think I should take it back. I made that video, that troll video I made where they're like, oh yeah, we're just gonna ban Planet Tuffle, like everything else is fine. We'll ban Planet Tuffle. No, they were like, you know what? We're tired of people talking shit. We're gonna do a good job. So I mean, hell, man, yeah. This Power of Legends it's a great card. It's cool that it was banned. Like set 14 is playable now. That's so crazy. I literally bought set 14 cards last night. Not last night. This morning when I woke up. When I woke up and I saw the ban list, I started buying set 14 cards. I was like, okay, these cards are good now. Like I can play these decks. Like it's crazy. It's crazy to me.
I know. I think the premier aggro deck after this might be Jiren.
Starter Vegeta, Jiren.
Starter Vegeta and Jiren.
Yeah. I agree. Maybe launch.
Which is awesome.
Yeah.
Maybe launch. But no, this was fantastic. Then we have Mecha Frieza chilling here. This just needed to happen.
Yeah.
This card never should have been printed.
Yeah.
Bandai, please stop printing Mecha Friezas. no more.
It just
the original one.
Not a good look.
The original one caught an emergency errata.
Yeah.
And your other one caught an emergency ban.
Yeah.
Maybe let's not generic a Mecha Frieza yellow leader anymore.
Yeah, and really they could have easily banned the original. This was the first leader to be banned. I'm just gonna say banned twice because they really should have just banned the first one.
Right?
Who cares? Like, it's crazy, right? It's interesting. Yeah, they should tuck this mechanic away. I don't know why they had to learn this lesson twice, but you know, it is what it is.
It's okay. They learned it. That's what matters. Is that they learned.
Yeah, exactly.
I wonder if in a couple months from now we're gonna see Soul Striker chilling here next to it.
It's possible. It's very possible.
Very
I mean,
possible.
Soul Striker is just so good, and the problem is that it's good because it's generic. It's not literally any single card that says blue leader I'll just play Soul Striker. Like the leader, let's look at you look at SS2 Gohan, right? That entire deck is just better in Soul Striker. It's a blue Saiyan leader. You look at the new Trunks from set 14. Everything is a blue Saiyan leader. Okay, I'll just play Soul Striker. Hirudegarn is leader locked, but that deck sucks. Like every good blue card is just put in Soul Striker. Now they're gonna now that aggro is dead, they can just go back to playing baby 5-drop or 3-drop baby unison, right? They can just
they could.
You can play Turning the Tide now because Jiren's not an issue. Black Jiren, the answer to Turning the Tide, can now just get counterplayed by Baby Ape. So realistically, they don't have to play Raditz anymore. They can just go back to I'm gonna win on turn 7 no matter what. And Baby's dead, more or less dead. I mean, again, there's no reason. I don't think Baby's dead, but is it better than Soul Striker? Probably not. You know what I mean? So.
They do two different things. I don't know. I think Soul Striker's definitely positioned pretty well after this ban list. I don't think aggro's dead.
Oh no, it's not dead. It's just
It's a turn 3 thing now.
Yeah.
Which is an aggro that we haven't seen in this game in a long time since like the days of Blue Red Vegeta.
Yeah, Blue Red Vegeta killed. That shit played 4-drops. Like we were playing 4-drops in our aggro deck. We played Forcing Hit, and it's like, yeah, I'm gonna play this card on turn 4. Like this is my aggro deck. I win on turn 4. Much more balanced than a turn 1, turn 2 aggro kill. And me and you have said this plenty of times. If an aggro deck kills on turn 3, it is fair because an aggro deck that kills on turn 3 is not that good, and realistically, it's probably your deck. Like it's like in Magic, right? Like control exists. Control in Magic is super broken, and so aggro needs to be really good to keep up with that control. So we're at this point in Dragon Ball where it's like our aggro decks are not really keeping up with our control decks, which I'm okay with because I hate aggro and I want to play a control format. But that's me being biased. At least I'll admit that I'm a little biased. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm trying to go to turn 7, dog. I want to go to turn 7 every game. I do not care.
Oh man! And speaking of turn 7, let's before we move on to the limits, cards that could have been banned that weren't. 7-drop Android 17 definitely
could have been.
Because you know, if the game gets too slow, then that card is just in everything, right? Yeah. Everything becomes blue, and everything becomes who plays 17 first.
Yeah, exactly. And then again, you have you can just play Baby Parasite, which means Jiren isn't an answer. Because now they get 17 and a triple strike, so now they just definitely win the game.
I'm not sure that the game's going to be that slow. I think that we'll probably, again, I think we'll see a good turn 3 to turn 5 region. Yeah. Which is a happy place for the game. Yeah. But that's something you could argue could have been banned. I don't think there's another card that they could have banned. I can't think of any that they might have missed here. Can you?
No, they did. No, it's perfect, man. It's perfect.
It's perfect, yeah. All right, so we move on to the limits. You get 1 copy of each of these per deck. Yeah. King Piccolo, the new ruler, probably a good idea. A lot of people were crying out for this. Really funny, because 2 of the 3 champion stamp cards that you can get this season
are limited now.
Limited to 1.
That
so all you have to do is top 16 to get a play set of them.
God, that honestly, what's the other one? It's Bergamo. Oh, the Black Goku, which I need those. Those look sick as hell. The problem, okay, so new ruler, in my opinion, was never as good as the other cards. Now, it's a great card, don't get me wrong. The reason New Ruler needed to be hit was probably like starter Vegeta, because that deck plays New Ruler every single turn. Like you look at like red decks that play a unison, right? You had Jiren. Okay, this hits Jiren, which is good. It just hits this random aggro deck. King Piccolo, Still completely just searchable. It's hard searchable in King Piccolo, so that's like not that bad of a hit. It's like starter. Yeah, it's still a one-up. No, I agree, but like it's starter Vegeta, right? That was the problem because like
it is.
That deck plays New Ruler every single turn that it can. You played 4 New Ruler in that deck. You have a double strike unison, and you have this double strike, and you have an overwhelm. So having like, you might only have like the difference between Jiren and starter Vegeta is starter Vegeta only has like 4 attacks. Those attacks are all just better. They're really good. They're all double strike. They all draw cards like, Piccolo Jr. They're all really good attacks. So this just hurts that deck slightly. It's still a good deck, still a good aggro deck. New Ruler and you have to have a unison with 3 markers. Like, that's not a 0 setup card. Like, like new Bardock the Resolute is a 0 setup card. All you have to do is attack with your critical leader, which is what Red Broly did. That's a 0 setup card. Belmont and Tau were better. They were 0 setup card. Like, you have these restrictions, but the way the deck operated was like you're gonna have it every single time. Like, you had a field spell that played 2 cards a turn. Of course, you're gonna have 3 cards. You know what I mean? So anyway, I'm glad that they limited it instead of banning it. It's funny. This regional season is definitely gonna take a huge hit because the prizes are way less enticing now that both of them are limited. It's too late.
No, that Goku's hot.
The Goku's hot, but that's still only 1 card. Like, I mean, look at the first. You look at the other 2 regional seasons. All 3 of those cards were played in multiples, or all of the cards were played in multiples in the decks they were played in. Now we have 2 limited cards. These are probably going to be like this is just going to be a cheap regional season in terms of the value you can actually win.
It's okay.
Yeah.
I would rather our game be good than the stupid promo.
No, I agree. Oh yeah, also the champ packs are absolutely fucking garbo. That's a different video, but yeah, this regional season, if you're going to miss any regional season, this is the one that's okay to miss.
Yeah, but you're not going to want to miss it because
you're not going to want to. Yeah, the game is better. Yeah.
I think that's smart. That's so smart. I wonder if they released it just because the promos weren't well received.
Yeah, that could be.
Anyway, yeah, I agree. I think the hit to New Ruler was a way that you put some checks and balances on Vegeta and even Red Broly to an extent as well. Yeah. I believe that by putting this card to 1, what you have managed to do is you've managed to buy another turn on average.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Which is what they wanted, and so I think that was great. And then we see this Janemba here, man. Yeah. Now, a lot of people look at this and ask, what did Janemba do wrong?
Yeah.
And honestly, I think that Janemba didn't do anything wrong. I think that Bandai wants Blue to stay in its lane.
Yeah.
This is an aggro Blue card, and I don't think that's what Bandai wants for Blue right now. So if you look at all the Blue cards that just came out, they're not really aggro, right?
No, they're literally it's an all control deck. Like, you're barely like, you're paying 2 energy for you're paying 2 energy, 4 energy, 3, like, you're paying a lot of energy for all your cards. Like, it's very much a control deck.
So this card in general, it kind of decentivizes you from building an aggro Blue deck and instead going in the mid-range control.
Yeah. Also,
we're seeing vanillas get splashed in a lot right now.
Yeah.
And so when that starts happening, and when they keep printing leaders that splash vanillas, things like this card become a threat, right? And we mentioned thwarting already. Thwarting is an issue because now there are vanillas that make him.
Yeah.
There's like some stupid red card. When you combo it, it puts both of the materials in your drop area or something. Like that.
Yeah. It's Katal. It's like when you combo Foolish 2, 1-drop skillless cards, and then you overwhelm and Bob, and then you go Vegeta. It's the red black launch deck. It's pretty cool. I like it a lot.
Yeah. So like this is just kind of like a preemptive hit to things like that. This will free up their design space to make more vanilla centric decks as well. I think this is fine. I don't think that this was necessary, but at the same time, I'm not going to complain about it.
Yeah, me neither.
I think it's acceptable. I think this is entirely acceptable. I've got no issues with it.
Yeah. I mean, this deck literally attacked like 6, 7, 8 times in 1 turn. Like, yeah, it sucks that I love Janemba. I have every Janemba card max rarity, and I played the hell out of this deck because it was so much fun. It wasn't even a good deck. It was just a lot of fun. But I mean, hell, ban it. Good, whatever. Slow the game down. I don't care.
It really does show you, though, right? That one
Mm.
extra turn makes aggro decks so much weaker and
Yeah.
more fair.
Yeah,
'Cause
exactly.
this was always a turn 3 deck,
Yeah.
and as a result, it was more fair than the turn 1 decks.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but that was good. That was good. All right, and then we're moving on to the erratas, and we've actually got the erratas down at the bottom. But before we get there, let's just cover the one unban. Bergamo players rejoice. You have the 2 symbol back. Mecha is sorry.
Excuse me.
He's very sorry for what he did to your Bergamo decks. In
Sure,
fact,
yeah.
he's resting in jail right now. for it.
All one Bergamo player. Yeah, this card's always been unplayable. It came out in like freaking Draft Box 2 or Draft Box 5 technically. It was unplayable for like 2 years, a year and a half, like a long time until Mecha came out, and then it was the best card in the deck, right? So it's gonna go it's gonna go back to never seeing play. Again, this covers the theme of like unplayable cards that became broken because of another mechanic, right? Like Tau, it was unplayable, and then something better came out and it was broken, and it just accidentally broke it. So yeah, this is great.
All right, now we go down to the erratas. There are 6 of them, and funny enough, 3 of them are Dark Brolys. Get wrecked, Dark Broly.
Yeah,
and the other 3 are So
Yeah.
let's get into it. The Dark Brolys all received the exact same errata. They cost
Yeah.
an energy now.
Yeah.
This is something I've been wanting them to do for a long time, is to add an energy restriction to this. And interestingly enough, you've always said in response to that it would kill the deck.
Oh
You
yeah.
think this is gonna kill the deck?
Okay, look, I haven't given it any thought whatsoever. I stopped playing Dark Broly in set 12 or some shit. I stopped playing Dark Broly a long time ago. I tried to tell motherfuckers. I really did. Dark Broly came out in set 11, right? I tried to tell people that this shit was broken. No, they didn't want to listen. It took them an entire format to listen, and then this has been like enemy number 1 of the entire game for the longest time. I don't know if the deck is dead. I don't know. Same thing with Vergex, right? Vergex suffered a lot of hits, and Vergex is honestly still playable. I've been playing Vergex, still playable. Not great, but playable. And it's like somebody who cares could still make Dark Broly work. The thing is, it's at the very least it's balanced now. That's all I can really say.
Kind of scream hand control to me, like.
Yeah. You can still Demigro. I mean, it's still a good card. But yeah, at the very least it's much worse. There's no aggro Dark Broly deck now. There's no way this deck could ever aggro.
Probably going back to the ball.
Yeah, and even then you have to make your deck where like your leader is worse now because it can only combo once. So if you go back to ball, which you probably have to in order to get this deck rolling, then you play a bunch of 0-mana zeros that you can't combo with. So your deck becomes worse. So is Dark Broly dead? I don't actually know. It's definitely nowhere near as broken. A lot of bad players are not going to get those free wins anymore because their deck just summons a 30k for free.
Fired.
Yeah, well, I mean, that was the problem with Dark Broly is it let bad players win games. I mean, that's just a fact. Like now, now people actually have to learn how to play the game if you've only ever played Dark Broly. But yeah, I mean,
these are fair. I'm
are
super happy to see it.
Yeah, it's still a 1-mana 30k plus one. Like it's not, these cards still aren't bad. It's just a question of if the deck can still compete in the format. When it was like, if the deck was already struggling in a matchup, that matchup now is unwinnable. If you are already struggling, and the
Unless
thing,
that deck was King Vegeta and is now dead.
Yeah, exactly. No, I think someone who cares can figure it out. Same thing with Vergex, right? Someone who cared always figured out how to break Vergex, and if someone cares about Dark Broly, then they'll figure out how to make it playable. Will it be tier 1? I don't know. Time will tell.
Yep. I am. I'm okay if it's dead.
I'm okay if it's dead. Yeah, I'm fine. Who cares? I don't want to play Violent Raise in my fucking deck. Yeah, I don't want to play Violent Raise anymore. The card's like super nag all the time. Let me just play Topo, and I'll live with Topo.
Yeah, I mean, I'm happy to see it go. It's long enough. It got its wins. It got so many.
Yeah, it got a lot of wins.
All right, on to the field spells. Now, the first one is Planet Vampa.
Yeah.
This is an interesting one. This is actually Bandai putting some thought into it.
Yeah.
So there's this thing. There will always be a Lich King.
Yeah.
Behind every really broken degenerate aggro deck is a slightly less broken, slightly less degenerate aggro deck waiting to take its place.
Yeah.
Either through a ban or support.
Yeah.
And so the one that was right behind King Vegeta and all the weird aggro package things was Red Broly. Red Broly was just waiting there, just wringing its hands and thinking about all the bad things it's going to do to its opponent.
Yeah.
And this is actually a solid hit. So the errata is, before you used your leader effect to search Planet Vampa, you played it, you add a card from your life to your hand once per turn, look at the top 7, play a 5k Broly, Ba, or Paragus, 5k or less. From the top, shuffle your deck, and then discard a card from your hand.
Yeah.
It didn't actually plus you much, but the things that it got were dumb, and this card could single-handedly facilitate a -6 on your Piccolo Junior Unison.
Yeah.
Not
the
anymore.
turn is played. The turn you can on turn 2.
Not the turn is played. Not the turn is played. Oh, you mean the turn the Unison? Yes.
The
turn
Unison.
The Unison is played.
Yeah. You essentially had an OTK on turn 2. It was kind of Exodia, but it's doable. Now it's not really doable anymore.
I got Exodia obliterated several times.
Yeah.
Look,
yeah.
It's no secret. I love Invoker. Any hit to Red Broly is a good day for me.
Yeah, exactly.
So now you can only use that Planet Vampa's effect if you have no battle cards in play. So I don't know that Red Broly even plays this anymore, because if this whiffs on your, first off, if it whiffs in general, game's over.
Yeah.
Now, a lot of Red Broly players had already come to the conclusion that it was just better to play Astonishing Potential if you opened with it.
Yep.
Now it's 100% better to just play Astonishing Potential if you open with it. I don't know. I think this is a hit to a deck that was already too inconsistent and glass cannony. I think that this one hit might be strong enough to keep Red Broly at bay.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I hate that deck. Again, I just don't like aggro decks. So I'm always going to, I personally, I have to recognize when I'm evaluating cards that I hate aggro cards. So I'm biased against any aggro deck because I just don't like that it exists. So, but realistically, Red Broly was not that amazing of a deck. It was inconsistent. It took its own life down to 2. So if you could just swing Champa, you probably won. It was just, it had a lot of flaws. Now it's lost 3 cards. It's lost Bardock the Resolute. It's lost some amount of copies of Piccolo, and your field spell can no longer facilitate the best play in the deck. It's just a much worse deck now. What's up?
It lost Tao too. They had been running Tao.
They ran Tao too? Okay, I didn't know that.
They ran Tao too. It was aggro Broly.
I got you, sure.
Why wouldn't you play Tao?
That makes sense. So anyway, it's a good errata in order to check the deck because it could have easily come back, or it could have come back theoretically. I don't know about easily, but it's just like a future-proofing thing that they did. Same with Janemba. I'm glad that they did it. These are all also field spells that basically start in play. Your leader, this doesn't start in play. You still have to pay the energy for it, but your leader searches it. It's guaranteed for you to have this. These other field spells too, they actually start in play just at the beginning of the game. So you're just these are guaranteed effects that were all really good, really synergistic with your deck. So it makes sense that they were hit.
Yeah, especially these field spells that we're about to talk about.
Yeah.
The leaders have their own effects, and then the field spell coming out on turn 1, it was like having double the leader effects. Now, Baby only drew a card on the front, but on the backside, it was Pot of Duality, it had Overlord, it had so much nonsense.
Had a lot.
King Vegeta had a consistency engine on the front and a party on the back.
Yeah.
With Young Invaders was just too much. But all right, so Planet Tuffle, I'd say this is our first hit to a control deck. Yeah, okay, our first hit to a control deck on this list. So people don't like playing against Baby.
Yeah.
And people often compare it to a brain-dead, skill-less deck.
Mm-hmm.
Because the idea was you negate with something like a Gohan, and then you Big Bang attack and they lose a card. You Big Bang attack, they lose a card, and you don't even have to pay attention. You just, when they turn a card sideways, you discard a card from your hand and move on with your life.
I have never been more relaxed at a tournament than when I was playing Baby. I don't care. You can't win. You can do all these shenanigans. I don't care. Baby it was a good deck. A lot of A lot of people didn't like playing it. I didn't think it was so broken that it was like this huge problem, blah blah blah. But people didn't like playing against it, so I understand that. Same thing kind of with Invoker. People just hated Invoker because people don't like being controlled, you know.
Yeah, just like we're control players, so we hate aggro decks. Aggro players really freaking hate control decks.
It's just the opposite side of the coin of how we feel. So,
so like
fair. This is a fair hit. It's fair.
Yeah, let's talk about it. So, it used to be that every one of your 5 or less counter spells was reduced by 1 energy.
Yep.
And now the only way that works is if you have no battle cards in play. So that means that if your leader's unawakened, if you Gohan, everything costs full energy now.
Yeah.
You can't exactly do that unawakened without some kind of a servant in play.
Yeah.
This affects their counterplays because they all play themselves. This affects their floodgates because they all play themselves.
Yeah.
This means that the baby player has to be very careful about their energy management and their counters that they're using and when. Because Big Bang Attack is not as good at 2 mana as it is at 1.
Absolutely not as good now. You still have D-Magic. Like, the deck still has
the
plays.
D-Magic. It's still fine. The deck is not dead.
Nah, yeah, it's not dead.
This just adds a slight skill cap to the deck.
Yeah.
And it means that, like, you're going to get put in situations where you can't play around it.
Yeah.
And so what they did was they removed a little bit of Baby's survivability.
Yeah.
Just like on the last list where they touched Invoker, they didn't touch its survivability, they touched its win condition, because that's where it thrived.
Yeah.
Invoker's strength was its win condition, Baby's strength was its survivability. So they weakened the 2 strengths of the control decks, so that again, everything was on the same kind of level.
Right, exactly. So you have, there have been turns in Baby where I've done Gohan, Big Bang, and it's like, I lose nothing. I literally, those are all zeros, and then my opponent loses 1 to 2 cards on every attack now. And you can't do that shit anymore. So if your opponent is doing like a big aggro turn, you can Gohan. Okay, well, Gohan's just a Senzu Bean. Like, realistically, they have to bottom deck 1. That's the same as your leader being 20. Gohan was Senzu Bean. You know, like you said, Big Bang Attack, much less good. Yeah, D-Magic exists. The deck's not dead. Ready to Rumble is still Baby Hatch in a lot of scenarios. And you still have, you could theoretically still have this uninteractable win con on turn 7 if you wanted. With your neg 5, summon 17, and then counter the Jiren. So there's stuff you can do, but it's like you said, it's much more balanced, much more fair. Yep.
Just like Invoker's not dead either, but
yeah.
Like these are our control decks, and it's important that they be brought down a notch together. Together,
yeah, exactly.
Only Invoker, and Baby was just kind of laughing in a corner. Come down to our level now, buddy.
Yeah.
It's good. This is good. This is a step forward. Maybe they could have been a little more harsh to it and just put once per turn.
That's what I thought they would do. Yeah, I thought the first counter you played gets reduced, and then everything else. This makes Big Bang Attack better. I mean, like, because you can still just play. You can play Majin Buu Unison, and you can double Big Bang Attack. You can still do shit like that. So I mean, like, this again, still a good deck, still very playable. Just more balanced, less unfair. It'll be easier to kill them on the turn that you're actually going for game now.
Yep. Oof, Majin Buu Unison. That's a winner of this ban list.
That card has always been working. Yeah.
Big winner. Yeah, now it's a big winner. All right, and then we get to the King Vegeta card. Now, I didn't actually think King Vegeta needed to be hit past the Bell mod and the Tau.
Past the FTK, yeah.
Past the FTK, but I'm always down for murdering an aggro deck. So let's murder an aggro deck, Bandai.
Yeah, this shit is dead, bro. I couldn't.
Good God, this is rough. Let's just.
Yeah.
So for those of you who have been living under a rock, this field spell summons a young invader to your opponent's side of the board for free every opponent's turn, even if the opponent went first. That was always nonsense. The young invader comes down, it crypts one of their life, and they draw a card. That should have like a Turles effect on it, right?
Yeah.
It should be all of your energy is mono red.
Right.
That way, if the opponent goes first, they don't get hit by this starting the game.
Yeah, you just start at 7 life, and you essentially, they're gonna do it twice, right? You essentially start the game at 6 life, and that's really bad.
And then they could, once per turn, take a life and play one of those dudes to their side of the board. And they have cards that for 1 or 0 energy, bottom deck that card and then do nonsense.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now that crud costs energy.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, this I honestly cannot see King Vegeta surviving this. This is what it was intended to be, though.
Yes,
It was always intended to be a control deck.
Yes.
This is fair, balanced control work. Unfortunately, I don't think that it's in a strong enough position to be a control deck.
No, it doesn't do enough. It has a 5 cost that just dies immediately. It's technically a 3 cost. Like the Vegeta, it just gets it's a good card, but like that's your deck, and it's like I'm just gonna play Secret Identity. I'll take a damage against a control deck. I'll take a damage. It doesn't matter. I'll just Secret Identity and win the game. Like it is what it is, you know.
Yep, and you're not. It's so slow. Give your opponent a young invader now, which means that playing your switching gears is so slow. By the way, rip everybody that bought switching gears. You done goofed.
Yeah, y'all done bought them. Yeah, dude. Them shits were a lot.
I don't know why you did that.
Yep.
Everybody in the community was crying out to have something bad happen to this deck. You should not have bought that or thwarting. Those were the things you needed to avoid in the money pile right now. But if you did,
if you bought thwartings, you're happy. If you bought switching gears, you're fucked. Yeah, that's all I can say.
Oh man, so like, I could see you tapping an energy, adding a life, and playing a 1-drop from your deck.
Yeah.
I just can't see you passing turn to use the other effect to your opponent as often. It's just the deck is so different now. If somebody is gonna still want to play their King Vegeta deck.
Somebody bought them damn promos. They're gonna use them.
I know, right? I spent $40 on this switching gears. I am playing it, whether it costs me an energy or not.
They spent more than that for real. Them bitches were up there for a while.
Not anymore, I imagine.
Yeah,
but,
the 1-drop Bardock is much worse because you can't guarantee that you'll have 3 because everything costs mana now. Bond 3 is no longer just guaranteed. The whole deck is just worse and good. Yeah. Fuck that deck. I mean, mid-range King Vegeta, like realistically, was a really good deck that I was okay with mid-range King Vegeta existing because we need decks that can kill on turn 3. That way, everyone doesn't just play like the most boring fuck control deck. I like when aggro exists in a format. It
has to exist.
Exactly. I just don't like when it kills you on turn 1 because no, like King Vegeta FTK wasn't like a guaranteed turn 1 kill, but like I've had games against Broly BR and King Vegeta where I draw 6 cards and then I lose. Like that is a game that happens occasionally, like not every time, but it happens. No one wants to play that fucking game except the guy winning wants to play that, but like nobody at any level wants to draw 6 cards and lose in a card game. Like that is the worst fucking design you could possibly have. So that doesn't exist anymore. Aggro decks that kill on turn 3. Yeah, hopefully. I don't know. I don't try to break aggro decks, so I'm never on the cusp of like discovering the aggro deck. That's always Robbie, right? Well, Robbie loves building this stupid shit for some reason. So,
stop it, Robbie.
Yeah, stop it. Yeah, him and Legends, bro, really fucking broke King Vegeta. So, but anyway, like. Just give me an aggro deck that kills on turn 3. Then I can draw my negates. I can draw Protector of the People. I can draw Sensu Bean. I can play my Unison, which then gives me access to Dormant Potential, Frieza, Yamcha, Wolfang Fist. Like, I can draw my outs, and I can play my game, and I'll still lose to aggro sometimes, because that's fine. That's how a game is. But nobody wants to draw 6 lose. Nobody wants to lose on turn 2 after getting hit with 4 criticals. It was horribly designed. It was not fun for me personally. I quit. We didn't quit. We're on extended hiatus. I have not entered a tournament. What'd you say?
Not anymore.
Yeah, I have not entered a tournament since June, which is a long time ago. Sublet entered 1 tournament in the past 4 months.
3rd place.
Yeah, he got 3rd place. Yeah, he did pretty good. But still, like the point is, like now the game is in a place where I actually just really want to play now, and I will fucking play the shit out of a Soul Striker mirror match because that's gonna go to turn 6, and if I'm not playing better, I'm gonna lose. I that's good. Like, if I don't play good, I deserve to lose. So, like, that's a format I can accept. I cannot accept a game where I draw 6 cards and lose. Like, that's just not how I can play this game.
Mhm. Yep.
So I done signed up for. I'm about to sign up for some fucking webcam regionals, dog. For real.
Yeah, I know. I was too, actually. Buy some Galactic Busters, everybody. Get ready to see Bojack's pretty face.
Bro, okay. Buy Galactic Buster. Buy New Tapion. New Tapion 4-drop is like not the Unison, because I don't think that Unison's that good. But the Tapion 4-drop is like $1 right now. Please buy that shit. That is very easily like a $10 card. You might as well only pay $1 for it while you can. Now is the time to invest in blue and green. Black still very good. Black really, other black decks didn't lose shit. Dark Broly lost, but other like Xeno Gogeta, much better deck now. Pretty good deck actually. It didn't lose anything. So I mean,
I lost Belmod.
that shit should never have played Belmod. That was, again, bad card in bad decks. Like, Belmod is not a good card. Like, so anyway, yeah.
It's good when you play 2 and 3 thwarts in your turn.
Yeah, but that deck wasn't. It didn't do it. It just wasn't that deck. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Anyway, that's really all I have to say.
Yeah,
I mean,
no.
love this ban list. Fucking Bandai, thank you for listening to the community. Community needs to lay off Bandai a little bit now. They gave us basically what we asked for plus some. The consensus against all of the competitive players I talked to is that this was a good ban list. If your deck got killed, I'm sorry. Like, it is unfortunate, but it is part of playing card games. I own like every single card in this game, so like every deck that I own has been hurt in some way. It just comes with the territory. Like, that's really all I can say.
For real, dude. I have 4 new rulers and 4
Yeah.
SPR Janimbas and
Yeah, I have all that shit. Yeah.
all these band cards. I got a playset foil stamped. Like, this is a sad time. You know how much a stamp Belmod was worth? Should have sold it.
Yeah, exactly. Now you can't. But it is what it is.
Now I can't. But I mean, this is good for the game. This is what everybody wanted from when Bandai announced that they were going to do a big ban list.
Yeah.
I think this was good. I think this really made up for what 2 weeks ago when Bandai released what had to be an April Fool's joke.
It's like a month, yeah.
Like, and seriously, the Beerus was just what the crud. But good job, Bandai. Very, very happy to see this. Very excited to play your game again.
Yep. Other than that, yeah, thanks for watching. You got anything else you want to say?
No, I think Team Bandai again.
We're back on Team Bandai. All right, peace out, everybody.